Hello.
We have several cameras here. We're on This Coffee Life's Instagram, and then my This Coffee Life Facebook and YouTube channel,
and Makeda and Mingus's Instagram Live.
Yeah. So
hello, everyone.
Hello. So we have several cameras going around here, and I have my screen here for in case anyone comments.
This is like the digital version of those funny house of mirrors.
Yeah, we see ourselves everywhere we look.
But also this one is the opposite of what I'm actually doing. It's really trippy.
Yeah. So let's see. A while back, Prash had texted me and asked me if we wanted to do a live stream of us drinking and talking about some of the coffees I roast together and that she sells here in the store.
Yeah.
And I said yes. And so then we had to nail down a date. Today we can do it, and hopefully we can do these regularly. I don't know how often we can do it, but hopefully a couple times a month at least.
That would
I
be
won't
fun.
say every week.
No.
But I would like to. So if we can do it every week, we will, but no promises.
We'll try and put a little notice out for you folks too.
Yes. Yeah, in the future, maybe we can put like a notice that we'll be going live.
Yeah. And
this is more spontaneous. And
it'll be digitally saved. So if you're watching this on the replay, just let us know.
Yes. And we are both vaccinated, so if we won't be drinking out of the same cup.
Got our own cups. We're doing good.
Yeah. And we're drinking a Kenya. So the Kenya Nairi Kiandu AB. I roasted this last week. And this coffee just got a 5-star rating on roaster ratings. I can never remember if it's just I think it's roaster ratings, and it was the tied for second highest scoring coffee for this last month, which I was very excited about. And then I sent another coffee in, which was a Ethiopian that got 4.5 stars rating, and made their like what they call drinkable everyday coffees or something like that. And but I think that coffee is a 5-star coffee, but I think I just messed up with the roast of that coffee. And
I think it's a 5-star coffee, not because Ethiopians are my all-time favorites, but it is definitely, it's an easy drinkable coffee.
Yeah.
It's also it feels special when you're drinking it. It's not just an everyday coffee.
Yeah. So, anyway, so Bruno, my friend Bruno said hi. Hello, Bruno.
Hi, Bruno.
So I have to really look to see.
I know, it's a little far.
See Sarah waved and stuff. So if we see your comments, it looks like you have some comments on yours.
I see Sarah over here and Prasanna over here.
And,
are you guys drinking coffee?
Yeah.
We're being bold. We're middle-aged and we're drinking coffee at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, I normally have my second cup of coffee at this time of the day every day. So I have coffee in the morning, and then when I come home, about right around this time, I make another cup.
Perfect.
So that's why I can't sleep. Well, I've always been like that. So you brewed. Tell us how you brewed and what. So you have 2 brewing vessels.
I do. I brewed the Kenya 2 ways, in a French press and in a Chemex. And I'm going to hold this up for all the cameras to see. And we're going to taste test it both ways. I really like when I get a new coffee, testing them in both these ways, because the French press has a really nice chewy mouthfeel, and the Chemex has a super clean mouthfeel, and it allows me to taste what I think is the spectrum of the coffee, from the earthier end to the lighter, brighter end of it. How do you taste test coffees if it's not your own that you're doing?
I'll usually I try to brew it how I normally would drink it, and like most of my coffees are. So Prash is open here, so customers may come in. So she has a customer that's walking in right now who's probably going to be. So when they come in, we may be putting our masks on. But so we're doing a live stream right now, and but Prash will still help you.
If you want to start with that, I'll join back.
Okay, so I can, while she is going to help, I'm going to taste. So I'm assuming that this one is out of the Chemex here.
The big cup is French press.
So this is out of the French press here. I was wrong, and it has a little more a little more body than what would be out of the Chemex. We'll see if I notice it out of here. Yeah, so that's a little bit thinner body, which you would expect for that.
I'm gonna make some noise for just a second.
And yeah, Prash is making a drink for someone. We're in a coffee shop. Makeda Mingus, 78th and Greenwood. Come down and you can be live with us.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, you did not interrupt. This is good. This is good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glad it's Friday.
It is Friday. I keep thinking all day it's Saturday, even though I did work today, but it was in my head.
It's got Saturday vibes today. So can you tell us a little bit about the region of Kenya and what the coffee there, from there, characteristics?
No, I cannot. I don't know the regions of Kenya. It's from Nyeri, which you see a lot of coffees coming from, and Karandu. So I don't really always. Kenya is just an interesting country because it's, at least for me, because a lot of the coffees they sell them through an auction, and so there's more information than there used to be about the Kenyan coffees sometimes, but not always. And there is, I don't know, like controversy about the Kenyan coffees sometimes, because I've heard that the farmers you don't always know how much they're getting. There's more middlemen involved there. I've heard that's changing, but it's difficult because I love Kenyan coffees. There's some of my favorite coffees, and this is a blend of 3 varietals: an S1, is that SL?
S128.
S128, then an S134, then a Ruri 11, and but this coffee I bought this through a Shrub, and they got it. It was a it's one of the exporters from there that does really high-end coffees. His name is, I should know it. It's on the box at home, but it just skipped my brain. So it'll come to me. But, and they're known for doing really nice coffees. And so to say, so she threw me a hard question. What do I know about the region? Because a lot of the countries I do know about the regions, but I've never been to Kenya, and I know Nyeri is one of the regions where you see a lot of high quality coffee coming from, and it's, I know it's a very high grown coffee, and but it's a washed coffee. I think there are some natural coffees coming out of Ethiopia now, but I don't know if I think I've had one once, and but almost all the coffees coming out of Ethiopia are washed coffees.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye. Interesting.
Yeah, and so a lot of the Kenyan coffees, I've noticed over the years some of the varietals have changed, but they still have, a lot of times the better ones will have like a berry, like a blackberry or a stone fruit type flavor to them. Sometimes they can have like a sweet tomato flavor. Some people say tomato soup. I think a lot of the better ones will have like a cherry tomato, like a sweet cherry tomato flavor. And this one almost has had that at times to me.
The first Kenya I ever had was very stewy. It was almost like, right, and that tomato, but it's like the sweetness of a tomato, not the acidity of a tomato.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's fine. I noticed the sweetness on this one as it's cool. And this coffee, I find it really opens up as it cools, and so this it's a very, very clean tasting coffee with a clean fruit or berry. I have on here not black. I thought my glasses are dirty. I thought I said blackberry, but this is black cherry. So black cherry, turbinado sugar, and bright clean finish is what I wrote. Kind of basic cupping notes.
Yep.
And
even this French press has a really clean finish to it. I thought it would be a lot chewier, but it has a really clean finish to it.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Tasting these side by side, the French press and the Chemex, had I not known and brewed them myself, I would have thought these are two different coffees.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get a lot. This one's definitely brighter. I'm getting a little more of the acidity out of there, and it's definitely is cleaner. But but
it has that like fruitiness of fresh tobacco. Not like smoking tobacco, but
you know what I mean.
When it's growing, it has that sweetness.
Yeah,
that's what the Chemex one tastes like.
Oh.
This is one of the reasons I love tasting them side by side, because it's compare and contrast. If I were to drink them one day and then the next day, I don't always remember.
Yeah, I should do them side by side more. Do two different brew methods. I don't know. I don't tend to do that enough. I will just brew one and then next day brew another. And when you're tasting coffees, like I just did a coffee tasting recently with a group of non-coffee people, and the thing people will say, "Oh, I can't taste," or "I don't." Every taste is valid. You like what you like. You don't like what you don't like, and it's not right or wrong. That's the fun thing about coffee. Like you drink, you make it how you like. If you put sugar in there, that's how you like. Put whatever in there. I mean, you're wrong if you put sugar in there, but that's okay. I'm just kidding. No, I don't. I really don't care. Like when people will buy like my coffee and they'll say, "Oh, I'll do this too." I'm like, "You bought the coffee, you own it. You do what you want with it." Yep. But tasting coffee you'll taste with people that, and maybe you don't always have the vocabulary to describe it correctly. Yep. And that's I mean, I didn't. I'm not. And I'm not. I will cup with people or taste coffee with people, and they'll like give me all these descriptions, and I'm like, "Oh, you got all that up?" And I'm like, "Oh,
are we drinking the same thing?"
But everyone has different experience, because a lot of your tastes come from your experiences of what you've had, and maybe they'll remind you of something grandma made, or maybe you've just eaten a lot of different foods and stuff.
Or like if you've never had an apple, you're not going to taste apple in your cup. Or if you've never, right?
Yeah. I was watching a clip of a video this gal does on like someone on Instagram, and they were with people of they were talking in the coffee industry. If you're not in coffee, they have what's called the flavor wheel, and it's like these different colors that have all these descriptions. And they came out there for years. There was the basic one, then they came out with a new one, and then who was it? Someone else came out with another roaster, came out with a really cool one that had more descriptions. But and there was a group of people, and they were talking about and they were people of just color. I think there were 6 people. There were like two black guys, 2 black girls, maybe there were 5, and then an Asian girl. And they were just talking about how, coming from their cultural background, working with the color wheel or the flavor wheel and stuff, and how bringing their experience and not being intimidated by it and stuff. And one of the girls, I loved her. She was like, "See, when I tasted something, I thought that tastes pink to me. And see, it's right there, it's pink." Because on the color wheel, and they, which is valid. When they taste, maybe you get colors and stuff, and so, which is, I think it's a viable way of looking at things.
When I started in specialty coffee in 2004, my first cupping, people are like cinnamon and caramel, and I'm like, tastes like coffee. But there was someone there, Eric. Eric used to cup in colors, like light blue, dark blue, and just, I'm not sure how he mapped it, but it was super fascinating to cup with him, because I'm still here drinking coffee. Everyone else is drinking like hot chocolate and cinnamon in their coffee, and he's cupping in colors. And it was just, I'm like, what am I doing? And then the more you drink and you start thinking about, it's like finding your palate. It was not a skill I thought I could do, but the more you drink and the more you think about it, and you start looking at the wheel and associating flavors. it becomes easier to open up your palate.
And it's funny. I think most people realize they just will eat, but not think about what they're eating.
Yeah.
And tasting coffee or wine or anything like that, when you do that, it just forces you to slow down, enjoy what you're drinking, and take that moment to drink it. So, Thiago, my friend Thiago from Brazil, he says hi. So,
hello.
And
I guess I should look at the comments.
Yeah. I don't know if I saw any other comments other than.
Sarah,
what did it say?
Sarah finished the latte.
Ah,
that's
nice.
awesome.
Yes. And it's funny. Speaking of lattes, I very rarely drink coffee with milk or drink lattes or anything like that. If I'm, and I have another job where at a Mukilteo Coffee, and one of the gals there made me she asked me if I wanted a coffee. So I'm not sure. I'll have a short latte, and it was an interesting experience for me. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and it was just that at Mukilteo they're roasting like a traditional Seattle style darker roast a little bit and stuff, but the coffee was almost like this chocolatey, just it was so smooth and just chocolatey to me. I'm like, it was really enjoyable. And she asked me, so how was it? Because she was nervous, and I'm like, I said, oh, it's very drinkable. And she's like, what do you mean?
That's the worst thing you can say to a barista. Oh, it's drinkable.
I said very drinkable, though. I was teasing you.
I met you in 2004, and I've been making coffee for you since 2004. I've never made you a latte.
No,
I don't think I've ever steamed milk for you.
I may have ordered a mocha, but yes, Thiago, we were drinking Kenyan coffee. That is what we're drinking. I'll put the bag up. I don't know if you can see that,
delicious.
But yes. And it's a so he says, what about the phosphoric acidity? And and I think I know what you mean, but yes, the acidity in this one is in the Chemex, because it's definitely a little more pronounced, a little more, whereas the acidity in the French press is a little more round, not quite as pointed. But it's definitely there in this one. It's
there in both, but it's more it's not acidic, but you can taste the acidity.
Yeah.
I can make the distinction that way in the Chemex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the French press, I feel like I don't know what the phosphoric acidity is specifically, but it feels like it brings out the sweetness more. And without that acidity, it would almost be flat.
Yeah. I'm getting more of this one, either the black cherry or blackberry, especially as it cools in the Chemex version. And this last sip, I just really, really got that.
Like a savory fruit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, more too. Hello, John.
So you are now live on Instagram, John.
Yeah, so we're live streaming right now, but you can come on in. She'll make you drink.
Needs that.
They won't be able to see you.
So. You want a drink?
Sure. I just need that's Americana.
Yeah.
What are you now live on Instagram?
We're live streaming right now, so
Are you really?
we're doing a tasting of Chemex coffee and talking about it, and Prash had brewed it through the Chemex right here, little baby Chemex, and then a French press.
Which one are you doing?
Yeah. Hello, Bruno. Yes. So we're tasting both of them, and it's a Kenyan coffee, roasted about a week ago, and yes, and we have a few people watching us right now. I have a couple of different friends from Brazil watching right now, so which is funny because my friend Bruno is watching. I've been to his farm. Actually, I have some of his coffees right now that I haven't released them yet, but I just bought some from this farm that I've been to. And then his nephew is watching also, which is funny. So, yeah.
Circle of coffee.
Yeah, and
Mingus.
Mingus, yeah. Yeah, so we have Mingus. You guys can't see him down here. He's laying right next to me, cuddling up. And yeah, we had tried to pick a time when Prash was off, but she ended up having to work all day today. She did a double. So what happened, bro? I meant to ask you about that. She doesn't want to talk about it on the air. Oh, those employees.
Happy
Need one time off. Yes, thank you, John.
Be well.
Yes, you too.
I chose to take more time off in the middle of the week instead of the end of the week.
Ah, okay.
You know how that goes.
Yep.
I'm surprised. I was expecting this to be a lot more chewier
Mm-hmm.
and a lot more thicker, but it's super flavorful.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny as when it was warmer. Actually, I was enjoying the Chemex one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm back. I'm totally sorry. What do you got here?
Lemonade.
And then cold brew and decaf cold brew. Can I have lemonade? Put it on John's.
Do you want icing?
Yes, please. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
As much ice as you can find.
But as this Chemex cools, or not the Chemex, but the French press, I'm just getting a lot more flavor out of it than.
Did you say the French press?
Yeah, it's interesting.
It tastes like the acidity of yogurt.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
even plain unflavored yogurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it tastes like to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the acidity definitely is jumping out more and more as it cools.
Mhm.
I find.
Do you want to chop off on either?
Yeah. You know, you can drink faster than I did.
I'll give you that. The funny thing about being in the coffee industry, and you're probably getting this a lot too, is how much coffee do you drink? And I rarely drink coffee for the caffeine. My favorite way of drinking coffee is when I have nothing to do. Me able to like sit on the couch or sit on the back deck and drink and enjoy coffee.
Yeah.
It's less utilitarian and more comfort.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I try to, cause like I used to like would have coffee with food. Now I'm like, no, I can't eat anything till I finish my coffee. Because I feel like I have to enjoy the coffee, think about it, analyze, and then sometimes, so after my wife will be like, oh, well, we'll eat your food while I'm not done with my coffee yet. And then so I'm like, I have to stop and think. I'm like, oh, it's okay to eat sometimes, but I mean, the only time I will like eat and drink my coffee is with a donut or a cookie, and then I'll dip it in my coffee.
Perfect.
Chocolate chip cookie or donut that I'll dip. But other than that, and so it's funny.
The Chemex one has like passion fruit in it as it cools.
See, but if you've never had passion fruit, you wouldn't have no idea what she's talking about.
I am now curious how this would do as an espresso. Like as a macchiato or an espresso.
Mm-hmm. I think it would do great. I think it would do great.
It would hold cream well. Part of the reason I really like Ethiopians and African coffees in general are they hold their flavor and their texture with a little bit of cream.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Central Americans seem to lose their mouthfeel, if you will.
Oh, interesting.
So those I generally always drink black.
Huh. Yeah. See, I wouldn't know that.
That's what you call a diss. A coffee burn, if you will.
It wasn't meant to be. So I like I said, I had a latte the other day. That's like normally, not even every year, maybe every other year, I'll have a mocha or something.
Yeah.
Or macchiato or something like that. And even less that we'll have a latte. So and so I don't always know what it should be like. So I should do that more. But
as long as you like it. I had a mocha. Okay, it's been years since I've had a mocha. But the last time I had a mocha, it was not as delicious as I had remembered mochas being. And that was how I got into coffee. How I got into coffee was putting Swiss Miss in a cup and then filling it with drip coffee.
In college.
My first job, actually, in the cafeteria. But I don't want to drink mochas anymore because I really want the memory of the mochas I had to just like be intact.
Well, I don't know if drip coffee and Swiss Miss could be considered a mocha, though.
No. So, when I started working at the coffee shop in Ann Arbor, I didn't drink coffee. And one of my baristas made me an iced mocha. And that was, I always worked the night shift. So I'd show up, she'd make me an iced mocha, I'd start my shift, and that's how I started slowly drinking coffee.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it's not how I started drinking coffee, but my first barista job was on the campus of Microsoft. And I was living I guess I was living in Fremont then. I think we must have just moved there. And yeah, I was. And then I'd take the bus over to the other side of Lake Washington from Seattle. And I would stop every morning at Bus Stop Espresso and get a coffee there. And I was trying to get where I didn't need to put anything in my coffee, because back then I still did. I have, in college, I'd always get a drip coffee and I'd put a little bit of cream and a little bit of sugar in there. And because I couldn't afford like a mocha or anything most of the time, so drip coffee was cheap. And then they had little punch cards and I'd fill it up and then order a mocha. or if I had extra cash, I'd splurge. So I'd get coffee in the morning there at Bus Stop Espresso. And I just remembered this the other day. I was telling a story to someone else that I'd order an 8-ounce dry cappuccino with a little bit of chocolate in it. And I remember going there, and then the first time the barista remembered my drink, I remember being like, "Oh, she knows my drink."
It's like
I wasn't sure how I felt there, and I didn't mind. She was young, cute barista. She knew my drink, and I was still young, working in coffee then, and I don't know how long I worked over there before I started working at Zoka, but this is one of those things I always remembered. And then when I started working at Zoka, I would drink like a drip coffee or something, but it would get cold. And so then I started drinking espresso because I could finish the espresso, because I'd be behind the bar and you'd get busy and you couldn't finish your drink. And so then I started drinking straight espresso. Then pretty soon that was all I drank, and that's all I wanted. Yeah. I get cravings for espresso. And then when the pour overs, people started drinking pour overs, I'd drink it and they were fine, but I'm like, well, I don't crave that. But now I'm like, oh, I don't drink espresso just because at home I'm doing pour overs all the time. So now I find myself want pour overs more than I do espresso. And it helps me go through because I usually roast my own coffee. I'll have like samples of like 10 or 12 different coffees. And espresso, if I make an espresso, it doesn't go through my coffee fast. So I'm trying to get to the dates of my coffees. So
when I crave coffee, I crave an Americano.
No, interesting.
That's my
See, I've never liked Americanos.
No.
I remember trying a couple times, and I'm just like, it just doesn't do it for me. But I know people like it, so
they're my go-to.
Yeah.
They have a nice, as they cool in general, like the sweetness comes out. So getting through a short Americano, it's like sitting there contemplating the coffee, contemplating whatever, and then like that sweetness just kind of round out that whole experience, which is really nice.
Nice. Let's see here. How long have we been on? I'm trying to.
Oh, I don't know how to tell this.
It says.
But at any rate, we're gonna keep drinking coffees together over time.
Yeah.
It's a fun way, especially now that we're both vaccinated, to be able to drink coffee together again and talk about it. And go through the different ones that Dismas has, different regions of coffees.
Yeah. And we'll do coffees that are, well, all of them you'll be able to pick up here at Makeda.
Yeah.
On 78th and Greenwood in Seattle.
We'll see you here.
Or on thiscoffeelife.com. It's my website.
Do you have a subscription package on there?
Yeah. Subscription. So
you don't even have to order. You just order once and it'll keep showing up.
Yeah. So, I have one where you can just pick I have some blends, so you can get a dark or medium, and then I have one where you can get like single origin, and it just whatever single origin I feel like sending out, you get. So.
And he's looking for an Indian coffee for me.
Yes.
I want to start featuring that here at Makeda and Mingus. So.
Why would you want to do that here?
Speaking of pour overs, there's a South Indian filter coffee style. And there's a certain apparatus that you make the coffee with, and I've been getting requests for it.
Do you have one?
No, but I'm gonna get it.
Okay.
I'll get the apparatus.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll find an Indian coffee.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, once I had a bag of Indian coffee that we got, and that was a long, long time ago.
Was it the Malabar?
No, it wasn't Malabar. It was a nice coffee. It was actually good. Okay, I lied. I did roast. We had a bag of Malabar when I was at Zoka one time.
Mm-hmm. That's the only one I've had.
Because
specialty coffee.
Because we were trying to get this account that wanted Robusta in it.
Yeah.
And so we didn't get the account.
Fair enough.
So I remember. So yeah.
So.
All right.
Well, thanks for joining, folks.
Yes, thank you.
Message us if you have any questions.
Yes, especially if you watch to the end.
If you're still here, let us know.
Yeah. Say hi, leave a message, and
if there's anything you want us to try, or if there's anything you want us to touch on while we're drinking coffee and chatting away, drop it in the comments. Let us know. I'm definitely a coffee enthusiast. I would not say that I'm a coffee expert, but I'll find out answers for you.
Yeah, I consider myself I guess enthusiast, but a student. I'm a student of coffee because I'm still learning. I don't consider myself. I've said this for years. I'm not an expert because I'm still learning. Experts, it's hard to teach them anything new.
That is true.
And every time I think I know something, I get proven wrong, and it's embarrassing, and I have to eat humble pie and cake, and that happens to me a lot though. But just in life, I find myself getting shown I'm wrong.
It's hard, right? We've been here almost 13 years now, and every time I train a new barista, it's like, well, this is what I know, but I learned this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Put 19 grams in your basket, but am I doing that right? So I'm like tamping, then I'm weighing it, and
Yeah, I know these new young baristas are just like there's the new way, and then there's my way, which is the right way. And I'm joking about that.
Well, thanks for joining us, folks.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
All right.
Digitally.
Yes, we'll see you soon. All right.
Turn this off.